English opened every single one of those doors, but here's the thing. I didn't wake up in one morning and fluent. At the end of this video, you will understand why English is the highest leverage skill that you can build right now, and how you can develop your English skill fast without spending a lot of money on expensive tutors or without moving abroad, and also while you're working as a full-time employee. You have to go to them and speak something in English, like one question, one comment, one promise, whatever it is. You can feel your ceiling gets a little bit higher. Hey, quick question. Do you ever open your mouth to speak something in English and in the moment you just go blank? You cannot really clearly deliver your thoughts or opinions in English even though you know the words and you studied English for years. Or if you're in the meeting room, if a foreign colleague says something and you understand like 70%, so you smile and nod, but you're praying for them to not ask you the follow-up questions. Or this should hit differently. You see an opportunity, a job posting, a IR pitch meeting, or a global conference. But in the back of your mind, you wish, oh, I would go for it if my English was better. If any of this sounds familiar to you, then this video is for you because that feeling and that hesitation is not a language problem, it's a ceiling problem. In this video, I'll help you break through it. Today, I'm gonna share the 3 practical and real-world strategies that genuinely changed my life that you can start this week. At the end of this video, you will understand why English is the highest leverage skill that you can build right now, and how you can develop your English skill fast without spending a lot of money on expensive tutors or without moving abroad, and also while you're working as a full-time employee. Stay with me, this will be worth your time. Let me tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from, not to brag, but because I want you to know this advice isn't theoretical. I have lived in Korea for the entire life. Never studied abroad, never had the luxury of immersion in an English-speaking country, just Korea for 30 years. And yet, I work at a global foreign company. I'm currently enrolled in a global executive MBA program, surrounded by executives from all over the world. I work in strategy consulting and VC, where I regularly negotiate, pitch, and build relationships with international investors and entrepreneurs. English opened every single one of those doors, but here's the thing. I didn't wake up in one morning and fluent. It was a process, a deliberate, sometimes painful process, and I want to share exactly what worked. There was a moment maybe 10 years ago when I first started my career where I got passed over a project, a high-profile international project, the kind that changes trajectories. The feedback I got indirectly was that the team needed someone more comfortable presenting in English, and that landed hard because I had been working so hard. I had the skills, I had the ideas, but in that room, when the pressure was on, I shrunk. And I remember going home that night thinking, is this always gonna be my ceiling? Is language will always hold me back? I stopped treating English as a subject to study. I started treating it as a weapon to build, a tool for ambition, and that mindset shift was everything. Alright, let's get into it. The 3 things that actually worked, actionable, real, and you can start right now. The first one, and this is the biggest mistake I see smart and hardworking people make. They spend years studying grammar, drilling vocabulary, watching English TV show with Korean subtitles, and their comprehension improves, sure, but their production, their ability to actually speak, think, negotiate, persuade in English stays stuck. Why? Because studying is passive and using is active. And fluency grows when you actively use English, not study English. Here's what I mean practically. The moment I started thinking out loud in English, narrating to my commute, talking to myself in the shower, recording voice memos in English after meetings, my brain started rewiring very fast. Then I leveled up. I started writing one English LinkedIn post per week about my industry, my observations, and my opinions. Nothing fancy, but it forced me to form thoughts in English, not translate from Korean. And then the real unlock. I started volunteering for any situation that required English at work. Even when I wasn't ready, a call with a foreign vendor, it was me. Drafting an email to a global team, I should do it. Me. And here's the insight. Fluency is not about perfection. It's about reps. The more reps you get in real context, the faster your brain adapts. Discomfort is not a sign you're failing, it's a sign that you're growing. So what's the actionable tip for this week? You should pick just one LinkedIn posting, or even one Instagram story posting, or one voice memo, one blog posting, whatever, but in English, and commit it for 30 days without using AI. You can rely on using AI just to fix your grammars a little bit. Most people consume English content designed for learners, and that's fine at the beginning. But if you want to think like a global leader, you need to consume what global leaders consume. I'm not talking about English dramas or pop songs. I mean TED Talks or podcasts in your industry. You can earn the calls like Harvard Business Review articles, podcasts like How I Built This or Lenny's podcast. And why does this matter? Because language and idea are inseparable. If you consume the high-level English content just as the global leaders consume that, then your mindset and your thinking framework and the logic, the cadence are actually same to their level. And then when you're in the boardroom, when you're in a pitch meeting, when you're on a panel, those phrases, those structures, those ways of framing ideas, they're already in you. You've heard them hundreds of times and you come out naturally. So one specific thing that worked for me was I would listen to a podcast every day when I was working out. I was not memorizing but synthesizing it. I was saying it out loud in my own words, making it mine. And another thing is you have to shadow one speaker you admire. Find someone, maybe a CEO you respect or a thought leader in your space, and study how they speak. Not just what they say, their pacing, their poses, the way they build to a point. Modeling great communicators accelerates your development faster than any textbook. So what's the actionable step for this week? You have to pick one English content. It can be either TED Talk or podcast or a newsletter. It can even be a YouTube channel. And you have to consume it not for entertainment, but for professional development. And you also have to synthesize it and you have to try to mimic them as much as you can, even for the posing, the voice tone, and their facial expressions too. Make it a non-negotiable 20 minutes every day and also commit it for 30 days first. And this is the one that nobody talks about, and I think it might be the most important one. There's a story we tell ourselves about our English. My English isn't good enough yet. I'll speak up more once I'm more fluent. I don't want to embarrass myself. I told myself that story for years, and you know what it did? It kept me invisible in rooms where I should have been speaking. So here's the truth I had to learn the hard way. Nobody is waiting for you to be perfect before they take you seriously. They are waiting for you to show up. When I finally started speaking in global meetings imperfectly, sometimes stumbling, sometimes asking people to repeat themselves, something surprising happened. People respected it more because I was present, I was engaged, and I was trying. The people who command the rooms are not the ones who are grammatically correct. Those are the people who are always confident, clear, most engaged, and consistent. So my advice, build your English identity now. Before you feel ready, introduce yourself in English at every opportunity. When you have a thought in a meeting, say it. When you're at a networking event, Go to the foreign person in the corner that everyone else is avoiding because that person is your opportunity. Start saying internally that I'm someone who communicates in English, not I'm learning English, because identity precedes behavior. When you see yourself as a global communicator, then you start acting like one, and eventually you become one. So the actionable step for this week, if you have your next meeting or an event where there's an English speaker, you have to go to them and speak something in English, like one question, one comment, one promise, whatever it is. You can feel your ceiling gets a little bit higher. Okay, here's the thing. I should be very honest. I almost didn't make this video because I didn't want to reveal my struggles. I always wanted to just show the perfect version of myself. To be honest, I'm a very private person, so I wanted to hide my struggles. But then I thought, if there is someone else who are actually feeling like this right now, then I genuinely want them to hear this. That English is not about becoming someone else. It's about removing the barriers between who you already are and who you are trying to be. Your idea is worth hearing, and your ambition is real. And your potential is not limited to the language you speak or the school you went to or whether you have lived abroad. I just grew up in Korea, but I learned English deliberately, and it actually gave me the seats at the table that I thought I would never be invited to. So I really want you to take those practical tips right now, and I want you to feel used to that uncomfortability because I'm here rooting for you. If you think this video was helpful, please share it to one who you think it might be helpful to, and also leave a comment because I read every single one, and go do great things. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next time.